Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to see this auditorium filled with enthusiasm. Today's seminar on learning how to crack that high-paying off-campus job is a significant effort by the placement cell of Banarsi Das Chandiwala Institute of Professional Studies. We are privileged to have our exceptional guest speaker who will undoubtedly illuminate our paths to success. In this audience, a warm welcome to the dedicated HODs and teachers who guide and inspire us every day. We are honored to have the presence of our esteemed BBA and MBA students, the driving force behind the academic vibrancy of our institute. With this amalgamation of talent and experience, let's embark on a journey of insights and wisdom. Please join me in welcoming our respected guest, Mr. Nikhil Gaur. I would like to begin the session with a brief introduction of a resource person for the day. Let me introduce to you Mr. Nikhil Gaur, a true architect of growth. Having ventured into the edtech space, he scaled communities with 30,000 plus active users in India and 3,000 plus in the UAE. As an MBA candidate at the Masters Union, he is currently shaping High School, India's first sales schools, epitomizing his commitment to the entrepreneurial pursuits. Noteworthy is his past at the Camp Craft Shala, where he contributed significantly to the partnerships, sales, strategy, and the user acquisition. We are also proud to mention that Mr. Nikhil is an alumnus of our college. Let's give a warm welcome to the visionary Mr. Nikhil Gaur. I will now request Dr. Shamsher Singh, our HOD for MBA, to kindly come up on the stage and formally welcome Mr. Nikhil Gaur. A huge round of applause, everybody, please. The floor is yours, sir.
Just one more thing, but the other guy is here.
Okay, so we'll introduce him. He's joining. No, that way. Other way. I'll no, sure.
Awesome. Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Hi, my name is Nikhil. I'm the founder of High School. You've already seen a quick introduction. Thank you so much for the warm introduction here. And we are with the High School team. So this is Pranav. He works at the founder's office. This is Amit, who's also one of the founding person as the content marketing intern. So all the videos that you see on High School is done by Amit. So he's basically an alumnus, so not really an alumnus, basically a cohort member of yours. So can you just give a round of applause for Amit? Apart from that, we also have Divyanshi. She is currently pursuing her BMS from SSCBS, who works with Amit, who works with Pranav, who works with me on all the content pieces that again you're seeing on the social media handles of High School. So this is a quick intro of the team. Moving on, I'll just set up some context of the conversation of exactly how we start, exactly how we proceed, what we'll be talking about today, and why am I here? Maybe where we can just find some mutual synergies today. So to start with, we'll just talk about a quick background check of mine, exactly what's been my background before this, before building High School. What am I currently pursuing? What is High School? Like, what is this India's first sales school? What are we doing here? Next, we'll talk about how can you crack your first off-campus high-paying job. And I'll give you some tangible facts there. Lastly, we'll just talk about exactly why I'm here. Maybe where you can just find some mutual synergies with me. Perfect, and then there's a short piece by Pranav. Basically, Pranav is the youngest member at High School. So we call him, so he basically works at a founder's office. The UG person from my college, that where I'm pursuing my PGP from, we'll just get to know more about him now. Perfect, yeah. Let's start off with my quick background here. So I've been working in the education space in the past 4 years. Started by building my own venture when I was in college, BBA second year. The first conversation I had was, I believe, with Devinder sir, Jamshedi sir, and also Aparna ma'am around high school, around teenage India. That was the first venture that we were building. The concept was very simple there. We were trying to build a community of all the tier 2 and tier 3 UG management colleges. Because the problem statement was simple, that almost 92% people who are right now pursuing a graduation across a BBA, BA and a BCom, the number is 1.5 CR. Out of which the percentage of people who get unplaced or like don't get any placement after their graduation is almost 92%. Out of the 8% who are getting placed, the average CTC is 3 LPA. The problem was very intense. That's the problem we wanted to solve. So we tried to build a community. We wanted to go to different colleges, we were doing workshops there, and the idea was to basically monetize the entire community by some cohort-based courses. Basically build a pipeline of recruiters, build a pipeline of students, get them placed through your training courses. It didn't really work out well because COVID came in. We tried to pivot into multiple models, tried to go online, tried to launch a few cohort-based courses. Nothing really worked out well. That's when I decided to shut the startup, and that's when I decided to work in the edtech space. Post which, worked in the edtech space for the next 2 years across 2 different companies, CampK12 and Craftshara. Joined CampK12 when they had raised their first Series A round of, I believe, 1995 CR. Went on to lead their Indian community building space, and then UAE, Dubai, and the MENA market. Good learning, but again, I never really wanted to work in the K-12 edtech space. When I was doing teenage, my love for higher education was developed there. That, okay, I want to build something in the higher education space for sure. That's when I moved on to working at Craftshara, an early stage startup. Initially, when I joined them, they were operating at an annual revenue rate of 1 CR, basically the annual revenue that they were doing as a company. When I left them in 1.5 years, we had an annual revenue of almost 15 CR that we were doing. So almost 15 is growth. Now I did it for some other founder. I knew how to do it. Again, I was working there as a founder's office, just like Pranav works here as a founder's office at high school. It was good learning. I did it for some other founder. I knew how to now build a business from scratch, 0 to 1, and then how to scale it from 1 to 10. Now I wanted to build something of my own. That was always the plan back of the mind. I built something in the higher education landscape. Started doing my research. Here exactly क्या बनाना है? Do you want to build an alternative to an MBA? Do you want to build something in tech? Do you want to build something in marketing? Do you want to build something in sales? Do you want to build something in broadband? Exactly what do you build? Started doing my research. And the root of research was very simple. I started talking to recruiters, the ones who were hiring. Here exactly आपका gap कहाँ पे है? मतलब what is it that you're not able to hire? Which talent are you struggling to hire? Just tell me that gap. We talked to almost 150 recruiters in 8 months. 150 tangible recruiters across different spaces, just to understand that one gap. I was able to figure out multiple categories and multiple domains. There's a huge gap of hiring good talent in tech, AI, ML, coding, and all those pieces. Huge gap in hiring marketing talent. Marketing agencies are booming and scaling very high, but we're not able to hire good talent there. Huge gap in hiring broadband talent, basically product management talent. Then a huge gap in hiring sales talent, which was extremely interesting for us. Ki salesman is a gap to hire good talent. Now interestingly, all these problems were already being solved. Tech mein, there are a lot of edtechs, there are a lot of new age colleges, be it Scaler School of Technology, Newton School, Coding Ninjas, Geek for Geeks, Geekster, all of them are already existing there. If you talk about marketing, already a lot of edtechs exist there. A lot of digital marketing courses you would have already seen. Then if you talk about broadband, which is product management, edtechs again exist there. There's Appraise, there's the product folks, P2P, the PM school, all of them are already existing there. If you talk about finance, HR, there are either B schools or there are edtechs that are solving the problem. But if you talk about sales, there is absolutely nothing. It's a complete white space. Not even a single edtech, not even a single B school for sales. You would have never really heard of a sales B school. You would have heard of marketing B schools, you would have heard of broadband B schools, but not finance B schools, HR B schools, but not even a single B school for sales. Let me give you some interesting facts about sales here today. I promise you that by the end of the session, you'll love sales. Yeah, exactly, we want to get into sales. More than 50% jobs right now being posted on LinkedIn are coming for sales. out of which a substantial chunk holds for B2B and SaaS sales. I'll tell you what B2B and SaaS sales is maybe later in the conversation. If I talk about the highest paying jobs, the second highest paying domain today after coding and tech is B2B and SaaS sales. Just take a rough guess. What do you think would be an average package for an entry-level role for someone who's joining at a SDR, which is an entry-level role in B2B and SaaS sales? Just an average guess, just a rough guess. क्या होगा average package? Quick guess, guys. Average package क्या होगा? 3 to 4, 6 lakh. Anything else? 4.5. Guys, the average package starts with 8 to 9 lakh and goes up to 12, 13 lakh. This is in the Indian US, this is in the Indian SaaS market. If you join any US-based SaaS company today at an entry-level role, someone who's just fresh out of a graduation, the package is going to start from 18 to 20 LPA. And that is a standard. If you join any company that's in the MENA market, Middle East and North Africa, it will once again start at 15, 16 LPA. That's how massively SaaS sales is paying today. And there's a huge connotation behind sales. Here, why don't you want to get into sales? Okay, how many of you want to get into sales, by the way? Quick answer. How many of you want to get into marketing? Finance? HR? Sales once again? Zero hands. Zero raise of hands. Why is this negative connotation about sales? There's a reason. And just tell me if you agree with this or not. When I talk about sales, the first thought that comes to your mind is या तो मेरे को 150 cold calls करनी है एक दिन में, या फिर मेरे को door to door जाके बेचना है. If you agree with me, just raise your hands. Perfect. Hey, this is not sales, by the way. This is sales to an extent for B2C and channel sales, if you talk about those categories. But the kind of sales that I'm talking about, which is B2B and SaaS sales, it's not this. I'll just give you a live example since I worked in the B2B space, like I've worked in the B2B sales space. In B2B and SaaS sales, you are selling to founders, CEOs, CXOs, CHROs, CFOs, VPs, senior VPs, director level positions. You have to sell to those people when you're just fresh out of college. When I got my first job, the second job basically, when I was working Kraftshala, I was, I believe, 22 years old. The first meeting that I had with the client was the director of WPP. The second meeting I had with the client was the senior director of Gartner at their office. I was just 22 years old. And those were the kind of people I was meeting. And I was not selling anything to them. It was a proper conversation in their cabin wherein I had a coffee cup and they had a coffee cup. It was a proper one-on-one conversation. And these were all the kind of meetings that I was having throughout my 1.5 years journey in Kraftshala. This is what is sales. I was not cold calling 150 people. मतलब मैंने पूरा sales career में शायद 150 cold calls नहीं की होगी. The maximum cold call that I would have done is maybe 50, 60, or not even that. And again, it didn't really work out well. 50-60 cold calls में भी cold calling से नहीं sales होती. What I was rather focusing on is to create a strategy to reach out to the right prospects in a way that it gets me the sale. I want to call them for a webinar, I want to call them for a podcast, I want to call them for a coffee, I want to call them for tea, I want to meet them in the office. Whatever I do, I need to get the client. This is sales. Sales is about understanding and approaching strategically. Sales is about not 150 cold calls. It's about those 10 cold calls that you do across 1 month, but you're absolutely sure कि ये जो 2-10 लोगों को मैं call कर रहा हूँ, these are the decision holders, number one. These are the ones who will pay me the check. And I'll be absolutely sure when I pitch them कि yeah, exactly, this is your problem, I am solving your problem. Right here. This is what is sales. Talking about high school, we are building India's first sales school. Now when you're doing a research, talking to recruiters, here exactly क्या problem है तुम्हारी, like exactly what is the problem statement that we can solve for you. Again, 50% jobs coming for sales, second highest paying domain, B2B SaaS sales. There was absolutely no reason for why we should not start something into B2B and SaaS sales. Absolutely no reason. No reason. Our goal is to basically build India's first sales B school. This might sound very fancy to you. How can you build a B school for sales? but you want to build it for an asset-light model. 2 years down the line, you want to start a college altogether, specifically for sales, that works out of a co-working space. That is a long-term plan. But again, to reach there, it's extremely difficult. You cannot reach there. Right from day one, requires capital, requires a lot of tangibility, requires credibility. Now to start on the initial 2 years, our go-to-market has been in a way wherein we've launched a program, or let's say a hybrid program, which we call the PGP in B2B and SaaS sales on a hybrid model, which is basically 80% online, 20% offline. The idea is to graduate 6 to 7 cohorts in the initial 2 years, get them placed at good 6 to 8, 10 lakh average CTCs, build that outcome, build that learning outcome, build the placement outcome, build the credibility, and then go offline. And building a college, by the way, guys, is not hard today. You see Newton School, you see Taylor School of Technology, you see IID, you see Mesa School of Business, you see Masters Union also. All of them have built a college on the asset-light model. I'll give you an example. I was meeting the founder of IID. यार उनका IID का campus साउथ दिल्ली के अंदर रीगल शूज की बिल्डिंग के ऊपर एक सिंगल फ्लोर पे कैंपस है. उनका टॉप लाइन बिजनेस उस कैंपस से 50 करोड़ से ऊपर है at 50% profitability. This is how market is evolving today. 5,500 plus B schools today in India. With every single new B school that's coming and solving a problem, and old B schools getting replaced. That's not being able to solve a problem. It's as simple as that. That's how the market is right now structured in India, at least. That's what we're trying to solve through high school. Now I'll just give you a very quick understanding of exactly why you should get into sales. By the way, I'm not selling you sales, guys, by the way. Just trying to break some myths here. When you get into marketing, you want to get into finance, HR, whatever, up to you. Please get into it. But please don't look at sales from the narrative that has already been set, is what I want to solve for you guys today. If you get into B2B and SaaS sales today, if you start off in this career today, let's say at a 9 lakh, 10 lakh, 11 lakh job, right after your college, and if you stay in that industry for the next 10 years, and if you're working, after 10 years, if you're working for a US-based SaaS company from India, I can assure you, you'll be earning more than a crore for sure. These are not just random numbers I'm throwing at you. Look at Glassdoor, check anyone who's working at a director level in a B2B SaaS company from the US. But they work in India. Their averages lie between 1.5 to 2 CR. That's on Glassdoor. Sales mein you have the highest and the best promotions. You stay in marketing, stay in finance, stay in HR. If you start at a, let's say, the averages are once again 4, 5, 6 LP, which is again pretty decent there. If you stay in that domain for the next 10 years, you'll be fairly good working at 20, 25, 30 LP salary brackets. But this is what you can earn in sales. If in case you start today fresh. And you're not selling, by the way, 150 gold costs, you're not doing that. You're selling to those 10, 15 enterprises. जो तुम्हें हर रोज चेक देके जाएंगे, मतलब हर महीने चेक देके जाएंगे. यार, okay, we're gonna buy a service today, the same tomorrow, next month, next year. It is your job now to not lose that client. How can you be strategic about it? How can you retain the client? How can number one acquire the client? It's not that easy to acquire a client. How do you acquire the client? How do you retain the client? क्या करना है? Coffee पिलानी है, क्या करना है? Gift भेजना है दिवाली पे, क्या करना है? Great. For example, for us in Craftshala, when we were working there, I used to meet my clients every second month in their office, and I used to take them for coffee in Starbucks.